Let's get in the customer's shoes and really look at what are the friction points. Simon, what's a friction point when it comes to F&I? What do you think your customers, if you're sitting across the desk and you've never done F&I before, what do you think that some of your customers would say the friction points are?
Like confidence, I guess. I mean, right?
So that customer wouldn't have confidence. That what you mean? I'm more mean like what would the customer think would be a friction point? Like what he said on the video. He said the time, like it's probably taken too long, or the intellect of their abilities. Like what do they know about finance? Maybe the confidence is a word that they might lack when they come into your office. What's a friction point, Joe? In our current process in F&I, what do you think a friction point of a customer would be?
I'd say a common one would be just lack of transparency. I mean, it's,
Yep.
hey, that's the guy that's going to do your paperwork kind of thing. And he's just typing. I mean, that's the biggest thing. You don't know what's going on.
What about you, Keith, Corey?
Well, I try to follow the three T's in here. It sounds kind of cliche, and if you put it in a sales point of view and a customer point of view, it's the three T's: time, trust, and transparency. If you can cover all three of those things in your deal, then you're doing just fine.
Yep. That's like what we say: transparent, clear, and convenient. We have to keep those in our verbiage. I think we could step back and let's really focus on the customer experience in September. Let's figure out how are we going to set ourselves apart? How are we going to be the Savannah Bananas of the baseball world? How are we going to set ourselves apart from just a regular F&I office or a regular experience that the customer is probably hesitant to? That most people don't like buying a car. It's like top three don't want to do things: going to the dentist, going to the doctor, and buying a car. So how can we change that, and how can we focus on a scenario to make their experience better? That's the focal point. Good to see you, Jesse. Good to see you, Donnie. Good to see you, Simon, Joe. We got Corey and Keith. We got Rick in the building. We got Matt, and then we've got a couple others that are jumping in. Chris, my man, good to see you, sir. I don't see any of the Garden State Honda team. I've sent them videos. I've sent them texts. I've talked with Brandon. I've sent out to the whole group. You're in the group, and
Nope.
nobody is on. I understand busy, but let's get them on here if we can. It'd be much appreciated. Simon, my man, let's start with you. Simon, any questions on the training, best practices? And we've got I'm excited to see you next week here at the F&I Summit here in Lexington. Super excited to see you, and Joe, I believe, is coming. And maybe Hayden. I don't know if Hayden's up there with Donnie. And Rick's in the room. He's coming as well. So I'm excited to see all of you all. Any questions on the training, best practices, innovation? So that's the topic of the summit. So what's something innovative, or what's something you're looking forward to learning or speaking about at the summit?
I mean, I'm a firm believer now that innovation is definitely doesn't generally just focus inside of the business, right? So if you innovate all around in your personal or your family, anything like that, things will just kind of fall together and change. So I'm excited to just kind of see what the other guys here were talking about when they went to the summit, and just kind of take some stuff back and show them.
I love it, man. What's the last training that you looked at?
Let me just pull it up here.
You all might have seen I've reorganized a few things in the app. The foundation is now the F&I training portal. So that's the top 30 videos that I believe will help accelerate your career, make you more money, the dealership more money, and better processes and procedures. So the F&I training module, there's 30 top ones. So go through there again, see if you've watched them or you haven't. There might be some new ones. I've uploaded, there's 57 quick closes and objection handling modules that are 30 seconds to 5 minutes long. I found that super valuable. I wish I would have had that specific to F&I. I've got objections from the customer, from the lender, different ways to present products. There's a bunch of stuff in there, and I'm going to continue to add. My goal is to get 100 by the end of the year. So I'm going to continue to add a bunch in there. So Simon, go ahead, take away.
The last one I did was your game-changing strategy for car dealership success. So I haven't watched the I'll take a look at them today, actually, because I don't really have a busy day. It's the F&I innovation and the lease advantage.
Nice. So what's one thing that you took away from the last training that you had?
I honestly couldn't tell you when I watched it, so I'm going to be.
That's okay.
up
That's
front
all-
and just let you know that I completely forgot what that last training was.
It's all good, brother. Keep pushing, keep doing your thing. I know you locked in. What'd you finish at August with?
2,600, 70% service with 2,200 cash PVR
Beautiful, man. 2,200 cash PVR. Raise your hand if you've ever ran $2,000 on cash deals.
at 40% cash.
Yeah, nobody. That's freaking awesome, dude. Keep doing what you're doing. And I would love if you would share a pointer or two with the group. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but one pointer that maybe is a little bit different, because I know you don't run that every single month, but what's something that you're doing maybe a little different to approach even thinking about 2,200 on a cash deal is crazy. So what's one or two things that you do?
I mean, realistically, I can't tell you the last time I was under 1,300 cash PVR for the month.
Love that.
And we had to change a few things. Um, I mean, I'm telling you, I can't remember the last time I was under 1,200 or 1,300, but I also can't remember the last time I was under 40, 50% cash.
Right.
So it's just kind of like taking it slow with the cash customers. If you need to pull the menu away, to have a conversation, a civil conversation, and do it, become their friend. The same as you would for a finance pitch. Just
Yeah.
they got to be extra special because
What's your
they've got the money.
process, real quick? What's your cash process? And you might not even have one. So if you implemented one, who knows? You might be running 2,500 a car. But what's your cash process? I know the deal process is a little different in Canada, but maybe it's something we need to start implementing here in the U.S. So what's different? What's the process?
Honestly, we don't really have a process. Like if they're the sales guys are closing the deal, if it's cash, we don't generally have them talk to them about it whatsoever. Just, okay, you're paying cash for it. Perfect. Here's your price. Come see the finance guy. He's going to go over all your options. First thing I always ask them is, your insurance is going to want to know whether or not there's a lien on it. I understand you're not financing it, but is it going to be line of credit?
Yeah.
HELOC, anything like that? No, paying straight cash. Perfect. Good for you. I wish I was in your position, but I'm going to go over how to protect your
Yeah.
investment here. And if they are doing a line of credit or HELOC or anything, I'll usually get them to pull up their banking app that shows them what the interest rate is on their line of credit.
I like it.
Because I had a guy last month who ended up switching from cash to finance. It's very rare that we actually get them to switch over, but he thought his line of credit was, I think it was like 7.2, which we actually can't beat here on a certain balance to finance. And then it was actually like 7.2 plus like 5% or something like that.
Yeah.
So it was like 12%. I got him at 899 and he was happy with it and he's going to pay it off in 6 months anyways.
Yeah. I love that. So investigative questions, really understanding, I think sometimes we get caught up on not asking the customer how they're paying for the vehicle because they might get upset that we're asking them if it's cash. Like we have to be a little bit more assertive on how we ask the questions and get the information from the customer that could help benefit them. Don't look at it as it's going to benefit me as the finance manager. It's going to help benefit that customer, because ultimately that's what we're looking at is how can I put the customer in a better financial position? That's the thought that we should have going into it. So thank you for that, Simon. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep crushing it. Excited to see you next week, brother.